One of the things we would coach you all to do, and if you want something else to write down and take away, is get really, really, really clear about the customer's problem you solve that no one else solves. Now, if I were to ask, and we don't have time to do that today, but if I were to ask each of you to tell me the customer problem you solve, close to 100% would tell me what you do. I don't want to know what you do. I want to know the customer's problem that you solve, that no one else solves. Because the reason that's so important, when I'm at this stage and I'm trying to qualify somebody, in my world, the problem I solve for people is I'm going to take luck out of the process of creating revenue generation, out of generating profitable revenue. Now, if that's not important to you, why do we want to talk anymore? We don't. You don't want to talk to me unless you just got nothing to do and I'm buying coffee. And I sure don't want to spend a lot of time with you, because if taking luck out of your process isn't important, I don't have anything for you. So by knowing the problem you solve, qualification becomes easy. When you tell a customer what you do, you force them to guess why they care. And you probably sound like everybody else that's been in their office in the last 6 months. So get really, really clear about what's the problem you solve for your client that nobody else solves. That's really important, because that's how you can actually separate real prospects from everybody else. And when you do that, if I come to Jane and say, Jane, we've worked with your industry for a really long time, and one of the things we found is a lot of people have this problem. Do you have this problem? Now, she's either going to say yes or no, and if she says no, guess what? I don't want to be here very long. If she says yes, I've got to ask her a couple more questions. I got to say, well, Jane, on a scale of 1 to 10 for 2012, how important is that problem to get solved this year? And she may say, hey, we're in the middle of an acquisition, or, we got something else going on, or, something huge is happening. So it's important, but I just can't get to it this year. Well, guess what? Now I want to file that away, and I want to come back and see her, at the end of the year or some other time. Or if she says, you know what? If I could solve that problem, I get an extra 8 hours of sleep a week, because that thing is killing me. Now, what do you think? Is this a qualified prospect or not? And I'm going to suggest, how many of you have a functional, measurable definition of a qualified lead in your company? I'm going to give you one. First is, I had that conceptual sell conversation with Jane, and Jane has said, yeah, if you can really solve that problem, I'll get more sleep. That's the first step. But the second step is behavioral. And believe it or not, if you get that conversation, you get it right, you'll be surprised. Over half the time, the person across from you will say something like this: Rick, if you can really solve that problem, I want a proposal. Now, depending whether you're B2C or B2C, so they may use slightly different words, but they're saying, man, I don't believe you, but if you really can do that, I want to know how. That's what they're really asking. And so, as a young salesperson, I would go, wow, she wants a proposal. And I'd run out the door, and I'd be all excited, and I'd come back, and I'd go, oh gosh, I don't think I know enough to really create a cool proposal. And then my boss would yell at me, and it would be bad. But as I got older, what I learned was that what I should do is, if I really know how to solve this problem, and Phil's a master at this, I will say. Phil really knows how to solve people's problems in his space. The next thing he's going to say is, you know what? We need to sit down, and I need to learn a lot more about you so I can put together a really good proposal for you. Now, we call that creating a joint statement of work. Now, half of you in the room are saying, I don't sell anything really expensive or really complex. I don't want to do a joint statement of work with the client. But you know what? When you go on Amazon, that's exactly what they do with you. You say, okay, TVs. And pretty soon, it's 50-some inches. Okay, well, geez, you need a home entertainment center to go along with that. And you need this, and you need that, and you need warranty, and you need all these other things. They're doing a joint statement of work with you right online, real time. So this is everybody in every business. You do the same thing. You know, if I'm coming into Massage Envy, you guys are going to say, well, how many of these do you want? Do you want to come on a weekly basis, monthly basis? You know, you want a member? I don't know if you have memberships, but, you know, you're starting to create a joint statement of work with me right there standing at the counter. We all do it. But we need to do it consciously and intentionally. And the part of this that makes it a qualified lead is if Jane says, oh no, just go do the proposal. What do you think? Qualified? If she's not willing to make some investment to move this thing forward, it's not qualified. And that's where most salespeople and most companies get in trouble. We're spending half our time going through the steps with people who really aren't serious. So we're spending a fortune in time and money moving these people forward when they're never going to buy. You know, so if she's not going to, I'd say, well, Jane, it sounds like this is something you'd really rather we address in 6 months or sometime. She said, well, yeah, that'd probably be better. Now, I've got an opportunity to come back in 6 months, and maybe it'll be serious. And she also knows I'm not going to chase my tail just to do it. So if she's serious, then the next time she'll say, well, yeah, we could, you know, put the people together and have a phone call.